Hello, good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on where you follow us. My name is Sandra Carvao, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar on UNWTO IPSOS Global Survey on the perception of residents towards city tourism. The format of this presentation will basically be around a 15-30 minutes setup of what the results of the survey were. We will then be opening for your questions and answering your doubts during around 15 minutes. Please message us on any doubt you might have. I'd also like to share that the webinar will be recorded and available for those who want to share it afterwards in UNWTO's YouTube channel. Without any further delay, I will then start by introducing what the survey is and what was the scope of developing it. The survey is a result of a partnership between the World Tourism Organization and IPSOS. Basically, what we wanted to know is, as the challenges around urban tourism growth are very visible to many destinations and the discussions going on, one of the most important points is to actually understand the perceptions of residents in countries about the growing tourism flow in cities. We're often very impacted by news or by social media comments, but it's very critical to actually be able to go beyond that perception and measure effectively what residents think. We also wanted to pass a very strong message on the importance of having a regular monitoring of residents' perception, not only of city tourism, obviously, but also of tourism impact in their own destinations. So the methodology of the survey included an online survey to 12,000 people in 15 countries. This is part of an ongoing IPSOS Global Advisor Wave survey. So the selection of the countries was not done specifically for this purpose, but it is part of an ongoing survey that IPSOS has on global issues. In each of the countries, 1,000 or 500 individuals representative of the global population were surveyed to ensure that the survey reflects the statistical significance of that population. The countries that were engaged, as you can see in the slide, were Argentina, Australia, Belgium, Canada, France, Germany, Hungary, Italy, Japan, Poland, the Republic of Korea, Spain, Sweden, the UK, and the United States. This gives us a broad view of what the issues can be in different parts of the world, and also in different parts where city tourism might be more or less developed. Sharing with you the key findings, what we came up with in terms of the biggest results is that 47% of the respondents overall do think they reside in cities with a high number of tourists. That is true. But on the positive side, 52% of those respondents think that tourism has a big or moderate impact in generating wealth and income to their cities. Furthermore, 56% thinks it creates issues of overcrowding. We will see the details further. It's also important to point out that in spite of the fact that 47% of respondents actually think that they live in cities with a high number of tourists, only 12% of those same residents thought that there should be limitations to the number of visitors. One of the key points that we also wanted to know is what measures do people would be more favorable to in terms of better managing the growing number of tourism in cities. And most of the respondents were actually supportive of improving infrastructure and facilities. So there's an issue of capacity that comes up very strongly here. Also, 71% mentioned that they would like the destination to create experiences and attractions that benefit both residents and visitors. This is actually one of the key messages that for us is very important. which means that when planning for tourism, it's important to plan for a city that is both for residents and for tourists at the same time. In terms of the demographic profile of respondents, it's very interesting to notice that young respondents, those under 34 years old, tends to be much more aware of the positive and possible negative impacts of tourism. They're also more favorable to more restrictive measures. When you look at age level, there is, again, much more awareness of the impact of tourism for those who actually possess a higher level of education. It's interesting to notice specifically the issue of the younger generation being much more aware of tourism, but also of its impact. We also wanted to see how travel frequency actually impacted on the answers. And when we look at the number of respondents who consider the leading cities with a high number of tourists, it does increase with the frequency of their traveling. So actually people with a higher level of traveling frequency are also the ones that are more aware of the impact of tourism. In terms of household income or sex differences, gender does not have an impact on that. I'd like now to share with you in terms of the key questions that were asked. As I mentioned in the beginning, 47% of the respondents said they think they reside in cities with a high number of tourists. It's interesting when you look at the countries, the highest percentage came from Australia, followed by Argentina, Sweden, and Spain, while the lower percentage actually comes from countries which are important tourism destinations, such as France, Japan, Belgium, and Germany. When we went and asked how these people see the impact of tourism in their cities, most of the respondents, 52%, considered that there's a big or moderate impact in terms of generating wealth and income to the city. Creating cultural exchanges was also highly valued, and also creating new offers of leisure activity. When we asked about what kind of negative impact was more important to those residents, 46% considered there's a big or moderate impact in issues of overcrowding, so the physical capacity of the destination, and then very close to this percentage, an increase in the cost of housing, in the cost of goods and services, and in the cost of transport to a much lesser extent. The second part where we wanted to focus was to know how residents felt about the need to implement measures to better manage city tourism. And again, around 50%, in this case 49% to be precise, considered that yes, there should be measures to implement a better management system in destinations. And again, very interesting, the same countries, Argentina, Spain, the Republic of Korea, Poland, Italy, come in the first part of the countries that think there should be measures to better manage city tourism. Going down in what kind of measures should be then implemented, as mentioned earlier, the most prominent one with 72% of respondents is to improve infrastructure and facilities. The second one to create experiences and attractions for residents and visitors. And the third, which goes very much in line with the second one, is to ensure local communities benefit from tourism. I would also like to point that we asked how many people actually thought there should be a limitation in the number of visitors, and only 12% considered such a restrictive measure in terms of addressing the growing number of visitors, and only 9% of the respondents actually said that there should be an halt in everything that has to do with tourism promotion to the destination. In terms of the socio-demographic profile, as it was mentioned earlier, actually travelers who have traveled abroad are much more aware, as I mentioned, of the impacts of tourism, either negative or more positive. And we also asked them, according to if they traveled or not, how do they see the impact of tourism in their cities. And again, it's very interesting to see that most of the people who have a higher experience in international travel are the ones which are more aware of tourism capacity to generate wealth and income, create intercultural exchanges, but also the ones who are more aware of the impact in terms of capacity and constraints in destinations. Again, when we looked at what kind of measures and if there should be measures, those who traveled internationally are much more open to implement measures to better manage tourism flows in cities than the ones who have not been exposed to it. So it's interesting to see that the ones who actually are contributing to the development of tourism overall are also the ones that actually have a more level of awareness in terms of tourism capacity. Those are basically the results of the survey, and very happy to share them with you. And as I mentioned, this survey was developed in partnership between IPSOS and UNWTO. And as a main point, I think what I would like to highlight as we close and open for questions is one that is key for destination management and tourism development to have an ongoing monitoring of what residents' perceptions and attitudes are towards tourism. Second, that residents are very much aware of the impact that tourism has in their cities. They do favor the implementation of measures that allow for a better management of tourism. And again, most of them related to infrastructure, which is a very important point, and also to the fact that tourism planning should be done having into account both tourists and residents at the same time. And also very important is that in spite of the fact that 47% think that they reside in cities with a high number of tourists, only 12% think that there should be a limitation to the number of visitors. So again, pointing out to the importance of actually having an effective management of flows that does allow for the benefits to be spread to the community. So with that, I'd like to close the sharing of the key findings of the survey that was developed by UNWTO and IPSOS. This survey took place at the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, so very recently. And with that, I thank all of them for their partnership. Without IPSOS, it would not have been possible for UNWTO to actually conduct its first direct consumer survey. And I'd also like to close by thanking all of you that joined today. And also all the ones that tried to join us last week. We had an issue with our servers here, but for those who came back today, very welcome. And I'm now open to answer your questions. So any questions?